I'm so confused. What's this about? Oh, is that Sean King? Is that the Sean King NPC?
Yeah. We was kings.
That's perfect, that. Or at least to temporarily lay them down in favour of Lee's weapons and emotions.
Michael Knowles Politicon.
Are you going to put that up? Put it up.
I'm looking. Which one do I want though? There's
There you go. There's our stream that's up at the moment.
How the F are we going to get along? That one was okay.
It's the grand.
He came out. And then there was another one that was a lot better. It was something about comedy.
Yeah.
Funny or offensive. That's the one.
Funny, is it funny or offensive or something? Yeah, I think it's the one where he's surrounded by all the morons. Yeah, put that up.
It's both. I mean, it's every single one he's in. So, but I think that this will be the better one. I'll go to there. I'll put it in streaming.
Yeah, put it in the Discord. We'll just play it from there.
I put it in streaming.
Oh. I better change it then. Streaming.
Kyle Kalinske, you know that guy. He was in the other one.
Yeah.
I didn't post that one.
He's not, Kyle Kalinski's not too bad. So is as far as leftists go. I mean, he's definitely a leftist. He's more of a liberal type thing, but
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name though. You're not streaming, bud.
Should be. Should definitely be.
I don't see you in my.
Yeah, you go. I haven't. I'm not playing the video, but I'm streaming. Yeah, it's definitely streaming.
Oh yeah, now it's okay. It's not showing up in my feed for some reason.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, no, this is a good clip. I'm going to play it in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out for our panel. Sorry for the delay. Everyone was a little busy doing their other panels. I'm Norman Golightly. I'm the founder of Is It Funny or Offensive? We are a social media company.
You need to turn that down.
We're interested in what's okay, what's not. Yep. Where's the line? Is there a line at all? If so, who draws it? We seem to have struck a bit of a nerve in the social cultural conversation about that topic. In just 3 years, we've amassed 1.6 million followers on Facebook, and there seems to be some headlines about this topic just about every day. So we're thrilled to sit here with this panel, a very diverse panel, which I'm happy to say. And we'll just introduce quickly Randy Sklar, Michael Knowles.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a split room. This is going to be good. Ida Rodriguez.
Oh, that's Roman.
Lauren Chen, also known as the Roman.
Yeah, she don't really say much. Well, I don't know why she's in any of these.
Fast forward. I'd fast forward a bit through all the.
Don Rickles didn't repeat his material that much.
Oh, you could put it to like 75% volume.
You're right, though. Marco Rubio, it wasn't Donald Trump who told the first dick joke in a GOP presidential primary. It was Marco Rubio. He started it. And you're exactly right. Marco Rubio couldn't do it. Hillary Clinton mopped the floor with him in 3 debates, but that wasn't enough. You should not try to out-Trump Trump unless you actually know what you're doing. He is afraid of some people, and boy, oh boy, they're trying to shut those people down already. But yeah, empathy, love, facts. Empathy, love, facts. If you hate Trump back, the hate will make you stupid, and you will say dumb things that will ruin you, and he will help you ruin yourself. So again, empathy, love, facts, and again, you're not going to convince your Christian brothers and sisters that they voted for fucking Caligula. They don't care. It's a cult.
We voted for
You're not going to convince people the fact that they have thrown out every teaching of Christ in the Beatitudes and Matthew 25 by voting for Caligula. You're not going to win them over, but again, you can debate, but if you hate, you're going to lose, and if you go and try and go mean, you're going to lose. So again, know your facts and don't debate in a vacuum. Debate when there's people around, bystanders, that you can sway, because you're not going to convince a cult member. You'll just make yourself look ridiculous. And for Donald Trump, there are people who could handle him. He hasn't had the chance to debate them publicly yet, and he most likely never will.
I can't let that comment go unresponded to.
I didn't think you would.
John, I know that your parents were ex-religious. They were, monk and nun, I think. Would you call yourself a practicing Christian?
I think we're all practicing Christians, because only one has so far ever gotten it right.
No, I think certain people can reject Jesus and reject the teachings of Christ and reject the resurrection.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Whoa, I didn't say that. I said rejecting the teachings of Christ. I didn't say anything about the resurrection.
But Christ isn't a teacher, he's a savior. And the point I want to make on
what teaching of Christ has Donald Trump tried to implement on a policy level?
He's saved countless unborn by
Jesus
by
never said anything about abortion.
He said that whatever you do to the least of me will cause you great trouble in the hereafter.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
If you cause one of the least of me to sin, it would be better to have a millstone tied around your neck and have you be cast into the sea. And President Trump is the most pro-life president. The point I want to...
It's hilarious, isn't it? Oh, are you up to date with that, or...?
Yep.
I gotta love when non-religious people try and make religious arguments. It's like like they've picked up a Bible in the last 20 years or something.
The guy on the far right over there.
Yeah.
He gets into religion all the time on this.
Yeah, right.
What I want to make on this is just the irony that so often people who are not practicing Christians, I'll just finish 1 second, that people who are not practicing Christians always lecture we Christians.
No, okay. I'm not a lecturing Christian.
The Bible says better you
not be
Sorry, Michael, I got to respond to what Michael said. I'm sorry, Eden, but I'm going to pull white privilege and male privilege and cis privilege and all kind of privilege.
Go.
The Bible's not against abortion. God gives Moses detailed abortion tips in Book of Numbers. In Exodus, he makes it clear. You strike a pregnant woman and the fetus dies, you pay a fine, she dies, you die.
What else
God
does Christ
does
say
not
about the law of
put
Moses
on the
in the
same
Bible,
level
John?
as a woman in the
John,
Bible.
what else does Christ say about the law of Moses in the Bible?
No, hang on.
That doesn't actually say that abortion's alright.
Yeah,
Michael
Knowles talked all about this in his
he covers
on his own show afterwards.
Yeah.
What specific teaching of Christ has Donald Trump tried to implement on a policy level?
You've misrepresented the presence of abortion in the Bible, because as Christ says clearly, because of the hardness of your hearts, the law of Moses was given to you. But from the beginning...
Oh, that was about divorce laws.
Right.
That was
coming downstairs, baby?
The Mosaic divorce laws in Matthew 19. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know you do.
So,
I know.
That's the argument.
Right? Am I right?
I wish that you were more truthfully representing the Scripture. He's done very good on pro-life.
You're not answering the question, Michael. One teaching of Jesus, then we can move on to funny shit.
Oh, he's done well. No, I can. Well, first of all, the idea that Christ is primarily a teacher is absurd and unchristian.
Called him rabbi.
No, he wasn't. He was a savior, and the fact of his death and resurrection are the key.
They worship him as a god because the teachings are far too liberal. Christ stood up for the marginalized.
What does St. Paul say about the civil government?
Attacking the marginalized, whether they be transgender kids, whether they be Muslim immigrants, despised minorities. He's been the opposite of Jesus every step of the way. And as a comedian, I don't claim to be a good Christian, man. I aspire to be a good Christian. I don't claim to be one, but I will call out a hypocrite.
John, John, what
Okay,
is,
yes, we are back to the
what does
comedy
St. Paul say in Romans about the role of the citizen to the government? And further,
I'm so sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Further, I would like to make one point on the parable of the talents, which is that it's.
Yes,
I'm answering my friend. I'm answering my friend. He brought it up.
Yes, it was.
Well, then don't bring it up if you don't want to hear an answer. I think this happens a lot from our friends on the left. They bring up a
teaching
point,
of
which
Christ.
is absurd, and then when you respond to it,
Oh.
they tell you that you're
All
ruining
right.
the conversation.
Audience, be nice, be nice. We got people from all sides here. Let's be respectful of everyone. And let's bring it back to comedy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, let's bring it back to comedy.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, oh, well, he just viciously attacked the guy and lied about him. Lied about, like, misrepresented the point of view, the biblical point of view, to an insane degree. And then it's like, oh, no, let's just talk about comedy now. It's like, he was not even letting him answer.
Oh, this happens repeatedly throughout the stream, and they call him the bully.
Yeah, for a start, like Romy Millennial, I don't know her actual name. I just know her YouTube thing. She's not she's not getting involved, which is her prerogative. You know, that's fine. But so basically, you would say that it's like 3 against 1 or 4 against 1, and he's supposed to be the bully.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, and they're not letting him talk and all that. He's
just getting warmed up. He is getting warmed up. I'm telling you.
Who's being a bully?
Like,
little old me? I don't think I'm a bully. I think I'm a
Okay.
perfectly
He's not a bully. He's just right-wing talking points in a suit.
That's funny.
It.
little old me.
I am certainly right. That is true. You're right about that.
Back to comedy. So, should there be a different set of rules for comedians than other people, like, let's say, the president? Is it a different set of rules and standards for something said at the Improv on a Friday night than what is said from the podium or at a press conference? I want to hear from comedians and the non-comedians.
Well, I think it's totally reasonable, even if you're a firm supporter of free speech and comedy, to talk about whether certain things are appropriate to say certain places and to certain people, right? I mean, is it appropriate to say what a late-night comedian might say to a world leader? I don't think so, right? And that doesn't mean you're anti-comedy, but I think it's just part and parcel of discussing how to navigate being an adult, right? Just because you're able to say some things in certain contexts doesn't mean it's appropriate. Whether or not you should be allowed to is a different question. But yeah, I think it's absolutely reasonable to ask, is this okay in this context?
I'd like to say that as a stand-up comedian, and what we do for a living, who gets to draw the line on what's appropriate for what to say, what we have to say? We are on the final frontier of what can be said, and I don't think that somebody sitting at home reading their Bible should tell a comedian who doesn't believe in that Bible what they should or should not be able to say in the name of comedy. We have to talk about it all. And what really bothers me is that when people say to someone like me, stick to comedy, don't talk about politics, those are the same people who think that George Carlin was a genius and never said to him that he should not talk about politics and he should stay out of the conversation. A lot of it has to do with who is saying what and why, and the people who think that I don't have the right or shouldn't be able to say the things that I'm saying because I'm not tap dancing for laughs or perpetuating stereotypes that make racist people comfortable with who I'm supposed to be.
That's right.
So yeah,
And-
I don't need anybody telling me what I can and cannot say as a comedian.
I agree with that. And when you want to talk about like a specific comedy club environment, people walk in.
They try to make this point. I was watching that retard Sam Cedar. He's more of an, I don't know. He's clearly not unintelligent, but he's a leftist. So it might be deliberate if he's not stupid. But I was watching him, and he makes that. But they make that point. I don't know what the other guy's name is on that show. I don't watch it that often because it's throw up worthy. But they make this point about like if Alex Jones had his way, he wouldn't let us make fun of him. He'd censor us or whatever, and it's something along those lines. And it's like, no, he wouldn't. He's quite happy for you to bring your point of view out and debate. Like anyone on the right would be. They're quite happy to. That's one thing they try and make.
Owen would ban you.
Yeah, well, the thing about Owen and his banning is he's banning. That's like someone that comes into your house and is yelling and screaming at you. You're going to kick him out of your house. That's not censorship. You know what I mean? Like that's like if you have a house party and someone's too drunk and starts getting abusive and just call like this is clearly you just kick him out. Or if he's doing a show or whatever, then if someone's getting abusive, you kick him out. That's not the same thing as censorship.
Hey, if I post something else, will it completely wreck the stream?
No, you can post it. I can go back to it. I can go up and down. So
okay.
You'll notice now.
All right, well here.
You can see that I'm going up, and I saw that.
Here, I got one. This is something important right here.
This one's funny. Tales from the Ginsburg crypt.
Well, check this out.
The only thing is I can't blow them up because anyway. What do we got? Slavery. What is it? Slavery was abolished in 1863. Things that make you go.
Well, it says that when was the IRS created?
The year before.
1862. Interesting, right? Very interesting.
So what do you mean? What are you saying? Slavery was abolished in... Hang on, I've got to get my head around this for a second.
We're saying that slavery was just transferred.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, when did income tax come in? Over there? Like your normal taxes? Whatever you call them?
The same year the Federal Reserve was created, 1913.
1913?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's when to me that's slavery in and of itself, because you're taxing, like even the socialist argument doesn't work, or like how they try and present it at first, which is we're only going to tax the rich. It's like as soon as you bring an income tax for all levels, some sort of tax for all levels, just for going to work and earning money, it's tyranny on some level. I think it was Calvin Coolidge that said that.
Oh yeah, he's
taxation.
I like
was taxation is and I
my
think he said
president.
any taxation and taxation that's more than as absolutely necessary is legalized robbery, is what he said.
Yeah, best president we ever had. It's funny because you never learn about that guy in school.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of him, and that's the way I like it.
I think another thing he said is you don't think that you can raise up the weak by bringing down the strong, which is an excellent point, because you can't. If you bring down the strong, if you bring down the strong in your nation, all you're going to do is make your nation weaker. You're not going to help the weaker people. You're not going to help the people that can't help themselves, because then there's no
they're
one
called
that can help
helpless
them.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is
no one can help them.
Here's something that no one ever talks about. There's some people who cannot be helped. They are what is called unemployable. They are unemployable. You cannot give them a job. They cannot do it.
Well, that's kind of like the Peterson argument, where they say, with the capitalism inequality, people stuck up at zero. So how do you reason your way out of that one? Because you're saying that there's going to be an increasing number of people that are in an IQ range where you just can't help them. They can't develop any skills.
Yep.
So you're kind of making an argument for UBI, like universal basic income, or like how do you deal with that problem?
No. How do I deal with it? Same way that communists would deal with them.
The commies.
Yeah.
Sweep them off the streets.
You know what? I'm pro-communist. I'm ready for it. You know what? Bring Sharia law too. Like, it's interesting the things that they argue for.
This
like,
stream just went dark.
It's like they don't get it. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's like they don't get it. They're like, women's rights. We love Muslims. I'm thinking. I've been to some Muslims' houses, and I wasn't even allowed to see their wife in the house.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been in many a Muslim's house from my direct sales days. Look, humans are humans, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, there's a problem with inbreeding in the Muslim community. That's pretty well documented now.
Yep.
And it's pretty well. You only need to scratch slightly below the surface to figure that out. But a lot of my a lot of my stuff's anecdotal, but 12 years doing direct sales, going into people's houses, directly seeing what happens. You go in and you deal with a Muslim couple. The wife may as well be a servant. She's covered up, she's hidden away, she's not. You don't get to talk to them. None of that stuff. Like the thing is, like what people don't realise is that's ultra conservatism. Like really, if you take right wing, they're actually right wing in a way. Like they're just.
Yep, I know. I get it.
They're like the Puritans, you know, back in the day, where it was like.
Yeah, on a reality scale, I'm a centrist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can make that argument, and you can sort of understand their point of view to a degree. Whereas, it's kind of like this whole thing, where certain religious ideas are that the cage is actually freedom, in a way, because it protects you from the outside world, and that's sort of like what they're doing with their women and their daughters and everything. Like that's how a lot of them think. That's why they cover them up. And they don't really let them do anything, don't let them drive and all that stuff. It's like keeping them safe. So the relationship that the left has with them doesn't make any sense because they're supposed to be liberal and all this. Well, that's the perception they create. You know.
Yeah, out here we have lots of Indian Hindus, Indian Christians, and Indian Muslims. I like the Indian Christians the most, of course, but
what's a Hindu? What's a Hindu?
Huh?
What's a Hindu? Lays eggs, eh?
They're... What?
Lays eggs, eh? It's a Kiwi joke.
Yeah. What do they do?
they lay eggs. Well, Hindus lay eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or hens lay eggs. Anyway, I had to explain it.
I did a job, for some Indian, and this guy was gonna spend a couple $100 with us, and his wife. Oh my God! I've never seen a woman ask so many questions before. It was funny. I was just sitting there thinking, man, this woman has been in America way too long.
Hey, do you want to post this link in the? Just grab the link and chuck it in the Unbearables app. No, I'm not whitelisted, so I can't.
I'm not either.
Okay. All right, we're both too dirty for the app then. Got too much mud on us.
Track between the audience and the comedian.
I'll play the video again.
You're going to hear some stuff that you may not like. There are some boundaries that are going to be pushed, but you are there understanding that is going to happen.
I can hear the video through your mic. I wonder if it's ruining the stream or not.
Then that's on the comedian.
Because I got the stream
muted.
muted.
And you have to suffer the consequences of people not laughing. If
the market decides.
The market decides.
Yeah, exactly. The market will decide whether or not you can do the jokes you do. And we travel around and do. I'm assuming you travel around and do comedy all over the country. And some jokes work in some places and some don't in other places because of the makeup of the people that are out there. But I say you got to tell them anyway. You got to get out there and tell them, because even if you lose the audience for a little bit, you can always win them back. That's always a wonderful challenge.
And the thing you're right. And the thing to remember is that what's more subjective than that which is offensive? It's different to all of us. But the one beautiful thing brothers and sisters on the left and the right have in common, both liberals and conservatives love to be offended. We have a national umbrage addiction that is deeper than any opioid addiction, and both sides getting off on pointing the finger and clutching their pearls. So it's highly subjective, and what I think is brilliant satire might be deeply vulgar to you, and we get to be grown-ups and try to get along anyway.
I agree with what all of my left-wing friends have said here. I agree entirely. The question, though, is not for working comedians. I go to a lot of comedy clubs. It's for on television. I watch Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel can be funny. I'm not saying he's never funny. He can be. But then he cries. He goes on TV and he just cries and whines about politics. I saw that special, Nanette, on Netflix, and the woman comes out and she tells some jokes, and then she says, I'm not going to tell any more jokes. I'm just going to talk about traumas in my life, and that's the new comedy. That isn't the new comedy. There's a word for that, which is called tragedy. And I think, on this point, is there a line? The line is that it should be funny. I'm not saying you said that
Do you know what
people
he's
have
talking
pressured
about?
you to do racist material. Don't do racist material. I'm just saying do something that's funny. If you're not doing that, you're not doing.
Well, that's not funny for you, but a lot of people say that Nanette special was the greatest
Yeah,
thing
that
to
is
come out
A
in
lot
called
of people
tragedy.
say a lot of things, man.
Right.
It
Well,
was
and
not
that's
funny. It might have been good, but it wasn't funny.
But that's why comedy is a subjective thing. It's not funny to you because it's not speaking directly to the thing. If she did a bunch of jokes about, guys gathering with tiki torches around it.
You know the funniest thing about all this is Knowles. They're all comedians. He's funnier than all of them. Like if you watch his show, like he's just funnier naturally than all of them, or any of his speeches that he does or anything like that. Way funnier. Like they're not funny. The left isn't funny anymore. Like not even remotely funny, because they're too busy trying to be all serious and stuff and follow the guidelines that they're given. Like they're not allowed to have any sort of opinions. So, just a standard right winger, a standard conservative is funnier than anyone on the left. Way funnier. So, yeah.
The monuments, and that would be hilarious.
Outrageous. This is what they do when they have nothing to say. They call you a racist. That's how you know you've won the argument. The point on Nanette is that she.
What was that? I want to watch that bit again.
Umbrage addiction that is deeper than any.
About.
Funny. If you're not doing that, you're not doing.
Well, that's not funny for you, but a lot of people say that Nanette special was the greatest thing to come out in the last 2 years.
A lot of people say a lot of things, man.
Right.
It
well,
was
and
not
that's
funny. It might have been good, but it wasn't funny.
But that's why comedy is a subjective thing. It's not funny to you because it's not speaking directly to the thing. If she did a bunch of jokes about,
no, she wasn't being
guys
funny
gathering with tiki torches around the monuments, and that would be hilarious.
It wasn't funny to anyone.
When they have nothing to say, they call you a racist. That's how you know
called
you've won
tragedy.
the argument. The point on Nanette is that she comes out and says, "I'm not going to make you laugh. I'm not."
Right, but then what if she does make you laugh after
But she
that?
didn't.
Maybe that was.
She
but
didn't. I
because
think
you
she
didn't find
succeeded.
that funny.
She succeeded very well in her job.
And an artist did her thing. You didn't dig it. Watch something new.
No, an artist did her thing, right? But a comedian did not do her thing.
Yeah, but again, you defining what is comedy and what isn't comedy is the
Comedy has
last
a
fucking
definition,
thing we
Val.
need in this world.
It has a definition. It's not subjective.
Yeah, but if I were to tell a joke and you didn't find it funny, you would be like, "That's not comedy."
At least you told a joke. No, I would say it's comedy. It wasn't good comedy. What she did was not comedy.
But it was about comedy. It was about comedy. It was a monologue about what comedy is, and
Correct,
that's why it falls under that
by the way,
purview. And either way, it's a performance.
Or you're exploring an idea or something, it's not you can't say it's comedy though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, you're exploring what comedy is, and it's like that's not comedy. So you might get claps, but you're not getting laughs, and they're just falling. They're just falling in line with the collective. Then that's all that is. Like to me these days, if I hear anything, like I've actually started watching some of Milo's stuff again, because that's mostly because I know that Vox Day had him write the foreword to that book, which I'm going to get, Jordan Addicts. But to me now, if I hear anyone get even remotely offended by something, I'm like, that's got to be funny. There's got to be some humor in that. Because if comedy's not offensive, I'm sorry, it's a waste of time. If it doesn't piss someone off on some level, someone's got to be triggered by it somewhere. Otherwise, it's not. Even like, the low-hanging fruit, like picking on Christians and all this type of stuff. You can still get a giggle out of it, even though it might be offensive to you. Just like we'll get a giggle out of, stuff that's making fun of Muslims. It's just that oftentimes with the Muslim stuff, it actually is true. And with the Christians, it's inaccurate. So, yeah, that's the thing. But if it's not offending someone, it's not funny, usually, as a rule.
There's a couple of good wall memes for you.
Let's have a look at these. Mexicans hugging and kissing walls and fences to show their love for border control.
For border control.
Is that a Star of David on the... Looks like a Star of David, that one. Down the bottom there.
Oh, yeah, that's Israel's wall. Look at it, Chuck. Your other country has a wall.
Look at it, Chuck. Your other country has a war.
That's what I was saying. Is 89 of them are not just American citizens. They're Israelis.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy when you think about it. But they'll never have a. Could this just be a theory, or would they possibly never have an American president? Because I had this idea with the left, and it's something along the lines of they can't appear to be successful. Like success for them is like an anima. Like they can't have that perception that they're successful in some, and that's like everyone on the left, even like your faux leftists and things like that. They've got to be shameful of any progress, so they've always got to have that. So the thing is, like, they couldn't make an Israeli president, for example, because that's too much success. But they can control most of the Congress and all that stuff, Israeli citizens and everything. Because it's not the ultimate sort of power type thing. So they can always say, oh, but when there's never been an American president that's Israeli, so we're not we're the oppressed type thing. It's like they've got to hold up this mantle of being the oppressed.
Oh God, man! I just saw. I'm gonna go ahead and post it. It's a little rough.
It's all right.
It's a wall meme.
Balls definitely work. Who's that guy? I don't recognize that guy.
That's Dale Earnhardt. He crashed into a wall and died. NASCAR.
That's a bit sort of full on.
Sorry.
It's a bit rough. Come on. I'm gonna post this stream in a couple of groups. I'll do a daily DW one and another one. There we go. We might get some viewers.
Yeah, go back to playing the video. I'm gonna see if you're like, I'm gonna mute my mic in Discord and watch with stream and see if it's getting feedback from your from the video.
Yeah, it probably is. I'll have to turn my mic down as well. I'll go back up to the video. So yeah, I'll.
For them to come up with something
I
new
posted
and a
that to
different
Bear
way
He
to
said,
present something.
"Ooh."
We see so many comedy specials that come out there the exact same thing with the exact same curtain and the exact same setup and the exact same jib shots and all that stuff. To come up with something new, I think that should be rewarded as well. Now, if you didn't laugh the whole time, then fine. That's not what it is.
And you know what? And I agree. And the thing about Nanette is, I didn't think it was the funniest thing on the planet either. But I do respect the fact. I fight for the right for her to be able to do that, because for so many years, all we do is watch
there's no feedback. It's
stand-up
perfect.
comedy coming from one perspective, hearing the same jokes over and over again that get told.
What
Comedy Central. What perspective would you like to hear?
What's the one perspective?
It's the same shit. It's the same. The straight white guy talking about.
What about
the
Chris
same
Rock? What about Roseanne Barr? What about
Yeah,
Kathy
you're talking
Griffin?
about exceptions. You're not talking about the rule.
Very famous.
You're talking about the exceptions. You're not talking about the rule. And when you talk about Roseanne Barr, who was the hated woman at one point, everybody hated her because of what she did to the national anthem, who then became the hero to those same people. What are you talking about Roseanne Barr for? Roseanne Barr is not somebody who's considered.
I'm just saying there wasn't one perspective.
There were many perspectives. When you talk about the very few minorities who get through the cracks and get to a high level, you are not talking about comedy, the comedy that we have to go to every week, every single week. That's not the reality. It's Dane Cook. It's Daniel Tosh. It's the same perspective over and over again. Women get drunk and they act stupid. This is my jizz. This is what I do. We hear that over and over and over and over and over.
I agree that Dane Cook is not a good comedian.
And it's all the time. So when a woman comes across and tells her story, and you decide that you don't like it, you know how many other specials there are with people who look like you, think like you, and talk like you on Netflix
it's that she wouldn't tell jokes.
This lady is not getting it. Oh, and she called Obama's wife a man. That one? Who? Oh.
That's what
I mean, but that's her version.
I didn't like it either. You just said
I
it wasn't
said I
funny.
didn't think it was funny.
I would argue that.
But that's her version of telling jokes.
Okay, put aside what you know about Louis C.K. at this point, after what he's done, okay? But I would argue that his specials and his comedy, and because I saw him and have worked, in clubs with him for the last 20 years, that he initially started off as an absurdist guy, writing absurd jokes and absurd things, and then at a certain point, he was like, I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm not writing jokes. I'm just going to tell the truth. And he did that in a number of specials before all the shit went down with him. And I would argue that that was the funniest shit out there. And so, he wasn't telling one giant truth in his life. And that, and I think that's going to make it hard to move forward.
God.
But I would say that, that wasn't jokes. So, we can't tell, like Eddie Izzard, does he tell jokes? No, he kind of goes through history and whatnot. Comedy can be very different things. You're talking about someone who's in a comedy team, and the stuff that we do plays more like music. Yes, there are jokes written in it, and yes, we are trying to write the funniest things that we can all the time, but that's what we do, and that's separate from even what you were saying, one person giving one perspective down the pipe. And so I just think comedy can be a lot of things, and even if she's saying, I'm not going to tell jokes, I'm going to tell these stories.
I'm not going to be funny.
No, she said, I'm not going to, whatever she said, but I'm just saying that, I'm not going to be funny. I'm just going to tell these stories. There were people laughing, and there are people laughing at that. So it's just not making you laugh, but there are other people who are laughing in other ways. So I just think you have to understand that. You can't say this is not funny.
No, I feel like I'm in the YouTube comment section.
No, because what's funny is that there are different types of comedy. There's alternative comedy, there's physical comedy, there's musical comedy. So that falls into one of those categories of comedy. And I think that it's so telling about how much sexism female comedians have to experience in comedy when one comedy special, just one.
Yeah, the not funny kind of comedy.
Yeah, the not hilarious comedy. The stuff that doesn't make you giggle, the stuff that makes you clap. There's the not comedy. There's upside. What do they call it? Would you name it upside down comedy? Inversion comedy, postmodern comedy. I don't know. But you have to give it a different name. You can't just call it comedy. You got to add something to it. It needs a modifier. If it's that type of comedy. Otherwise, you could just call it comedy. How dare you?
So much criticism and has come under fire so much when there are so many male comedians whose specials a lot of people don't consider are funny, and doesn't cause so much of a stir. Like, she's a woman, a lesbian from Australia that told a very specific story that a lot of people responded to. Can you just let her
they're talking about you.
Yeah, she can live. I'm not trying to stop her from living, but the reason that people responded to it, there are plenty of specials that bomb, and nobody watches them. Nobody talks about them, and nobody cares.
I thought they said Australia.
Isn't it? Oh no, she's not Australian. She's a lesbian though. Do you remember that clip? There's that clip of her when she's like, someone calls her sir, and then she goes, "I identify as both" or something.
Oh my god.
It's okay. Like the guy was like, "Oh, sorry," because he thought like he defended her or something. But it turns out that she wasn't offended, and she's like, "Oh no, sorry, it's alright. I identify as both." And tries to laugh it off. I'm thinking, you're kidding, aren't you? Like, what the hell? You know what would probably be better? There we go. I've got this posted in a couple of groups. Alright, you got something else?
I'm just reading stuff.
Oh, ISIS. Start your new life in Canada. Contact ISIS. Are they morons or are they morons? But seriously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Immigration.
Oh god, that's hilarious. That's too funny. ISIS. Start your new life in Canada. ISISNS.ca. We've got some.
Looking at a picture. I'm looking at a picture right now. It says, "Name one reason why I should not be able to own a gun. Your feelings don't count." And it's a Glock 45 and a hand and a black hand. And the very first post says, "You're a felon." Why can't I own a gun? You're a felon.
Yeah, well, isn't that
You're
the case?
expecting.
You can't own a gun if you're a felon over there. Is that right?
Yeah. Which is a ridiculous rule.
How do they enforce it though? Just if you get caught with a gun and you're.
Yeah, you just can't buy them. But it used to be.
That's what I don't understand about the outrage. All that. Like I can go get a gun license here, and then I can go buy a rifle. Like you can get a gun. It used to be
they'd give you your gun back after you got out of jail.
I'm wondering, in some cases, would it be easy? Oh no, I suppose you have to get a gun license here, so that if you have a, but it's the same thing in my mind. And if you, well, it really is a ridiculous argument. The thing that always gets me with the gun control thing is if you take away the guns, like to me, it's just taking away guns from responsible people that haven't broken the law to a degree where they shouldn't have one. And that doesn't make any sense because you're never going to stop criminals. People that don't care about the law, you're never going to stop them from getting guns, particularly when there's like 300 million guns in the country already. Like at this point, there's nothing you can do to stop those people from getting guns and using them.
It'd be like outlawing cars.
Yeah,
actually, it'd probably be easier to outlaw cars.
Don't the left over there realise that if they got everything they want and they confiscated the guns from all of the law-abiding citizens or whatever, or made it so there was gun control, don't they realise that that would create that much more chaos because all the criminals would still have
they just create. Yeah, they just create a bunch of criminals because no one will give them up.
Well, either way, they're not going to get anything good out of it. With the US in particular, more than any other country, because you have a gun culture there. Whether you're talking to someone that agrees with the gun culture or not, it exists. So, gun control is only going to make things. It's not going to make things any better at all. And that's whether or not. I actually think you need less gun control than what you've got at the moment. Because like when you look at these videos of
yeah, me too. They need to give felons guns back.
Yeah.
At least then we know they have them.
Yeah, well the thing is, like if you look at these videos, there's heaps of them online where in heavily armed areas where everyone's armed. What happens when someone tries to rob a store? They get put down in like 2 seconds. Because they'll walk in and there'll be like 6. There was some video where there's like 6.
Yeah.
I think it might have been in Brazil or something actually.
Yeah, it was Brazil.
Yeah, there's like 6 people in the store and they put them down in no time. Because,
yeah.
Because they're all armed.
Yeah. The headline said robber gets shot by everyone in the store.
And I think that's great because the thing is, like we have it here, right? And I talked about this on the stream with Kama, where we have it here where it's that hard to get like protective, like self-defense type firearms, like handguns and things, and to be able to like you can't conceal and carry. If there's a robbery,
yep.
if there's a robbery and you're in the shop, like you're just a customer, and even the shopkeeper, they can't do anything because the criminals have guns. You know, so I don't know. It's one of those.
Hey, yeah. How many guns do they say are in Australia?
I don't know. You'd have to go to the statistics for that. There'd be statistics.
Well,
well, they reckon.
Here's
look up how many guns were seized in the seizure, in the gun seizure and the gun confiscation.
And here's what's all.
Because they only got a third of the guns, so you triple it. However many guns they confiscated, you triple it. That's how many guns were in Australia at the time, right? And now it'll be more because they come in.
Well, here's the thing about America. There is 100 million more guns than cars. And everyone's got a car. Just think about that.
Yeah.
100 million more guns than cars.
Yeah.
And everyone
there's 300 million guns. There's basically a gun for every man, woman, and child in America.
Yeah, and there's only 200 million cars.
Yeah. That's crazy. Gun confiscation. I'm looking it up now. Roughly how many guns are confiscated. Australia, so they confiscated 650,000 guns. And
you know what? Hey,
it's pretty well accepted that they only got a third of the guns when they confiscated them because a lot of people wouldn't give them up.
Yeah.
So you would say that I'd say there's probably about 3 to 4 million guns in Australia. So for a start, like this is why it's not comparable because I was arguing with someone at work the other day. They said, "Oh, we don't."
How many were confiscated? 600,000.
650,000.
Hey, here I got a number for you to look up. Look up how many background checks were done on Black Friday. Look that up.
Background checks
for guns
in the US.
In the US.
USA Black Friday. The Black Friday just.
Yeah.
The Federal Bureau reported fielded 200,000 checks. 200,000.
And here's the thing: you only need one background check to buy as many guns as you want. So you can buy 6 to 10 guns with one check. So 200,000 checks. So just think about that. And most people are probably buying 2 guns on Black Friday, you know, finding a deal. So.
Yeah. Well, I may as well put this up, right? Oh, hello. What happened there? Oh, 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 oh. We've lost everyone. So we'll get him back. Loading, loading. Oh, oh, oh. What are we doing? Here we are.
Oh, did I lose you for a second?
Yeah, we're back though, and it's all back up and running. I've got to get a better rig than what I've got.
Yeah.
What the hell? Right. So it's not letting me. I can't post memes. I'll get them back in a sec. Satisfying the constraints. There we go.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm back again. Okay. Now I can't post memes. If when I try and post memes, it crashes. And then I've got to load it again. It's pretty funny. Like if I press this button, here I'll do it one more time just because it's funny. If I press the plus button to post something.
Oh, I heard you.
Yep, crashed. Oh, you can't hear me. You can hear me on the stream, but you can't hear me. All right, so I'm not allowed to post memes apparently, according to this program. That's all right. It wasn't even a meme; it was just a print screen. But anyway.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah, I'm apparently not allowed to post anything.
Yeah.
Maybe if I go paste, I might try that. Hang on. If I go here, I'll do another one. Print screen, and we go to copy to clipboard. Yep. And then if I go paste, upload. I don't care if that's all goes up. There we go. Except it's tiny. Hang on. There we go. So we have background checks. 20,000, 200,000 checks, even though you can't see the whole thing properly, but that's all right.
Yeah. 200,000. And each check doesn't mean one gun.
Oh, I can do it like that.
Yeah. You can buy 100 guns with one check.
Yeah.
But people are probably buying 2.
You can only barely see it there.
Yeah. People are probably buying 2 guns with each check.
Yeah.
So we sell as many guns in one day as they can confiscate in your whole country. Your whole continent.
Oh, this is a cool picture. Copy this one. Copy the image. Paste it in here. Oh, that picture, that's pretty cool. Can you actually get a gun like that? That's got, would that be like just material that's pasted all around it or something?
Yes.
Or just paint, some sort of paint? Peel off paint or something?
I don't know what I know that they usually use what is it called? I'm blanking, but like a Cerakote usually.
Alright, back to Michael Knowles.
Okay. No, Michael Knowles best.
Hang on, it started again.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'll just go 3/4 of the way through.
You can. I'll defend all those lefty, Louis C.K. or whatever. I think you can separate the art from the artist. A lot of my favorite authors in all of history were dirty, rotten scoundrels. Some great people, people who have done great things, have been pretty rotten in certain occasions. Maybe including our president, I don't know. So I certainly think you can separate the art from the artist. And I thought I understood the response to Roseanne. Of course, she was going to get fired for that, especially in this climate.
That is the funniest thing you said the whole time. That Trump is an artist. Just let everybody know.
Oh, he's quite an artist.
That's the funniest thing you said.
My friends on the left say he's a con artist, but he's a Twitter artist. He's a good
hilarious. All right.
Yeah, but I thought
funny.
the response to Roseanne. I think in the light of day, even people on her show, John Goodman, are saying it was an overreach, but they've got to protect
calling
their
a black
own
person
jobs.
a monkey. Bit of an overreach.
No, she said she didn't know. She took a lot of Ambien. I don't know. I don't care about Roseanne Barr. I don't care to defend her.
Okay.
What I'm just saying is that people say offensive things. You just said comedians say horribly offensive things. And I can still enjoy Bill Cosby's comedy, even while keeping perfectly clear in my mind that he did horrific things for a very long time.
Yeah, because you're not a woman. So it's okay to listen to somebody joke about putting Quaaludes in people's drinks while
Best
you
president
I can still enjoy
Coolidge.
Kathy Griffin's pseudo-comedy, even though she said she wants to cut off the heads of
Yeah, but you're equating a sexual offender to a woman who made a joke in poor taste.
Yeah,
you're talking about somebody who broke the law.
Well, you can laugh about that because you're not a Republican. You know,
you
that's
know
why.
what? And I'm not a Democrat either. So stop making that assumption.
I didn't make any assumption.
Okay, because you keep calling me a lefty. You keep calling me the people on the other side. Listen, you have. You called us all. Me.
No, I was talking about my
friends
at the ends of the table.
Okay.
Not you.
Okay. Well, this is what I wanted to say about Bill Cosby and Roseanne Barr.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be a roaming millennial. For someone who wears a turtleneck, she gets a lot of views. Roaming millennial. But she wears it with a turtleneck.
Roseanne Barr, who actually has been a mentor to me and has been very kind to me in my life. So I've never publicly spoken about her because of the relationship that I have with her. But what I will say about Louis C.K., Louis C.K.'s history is that one that obstructed the path of the women that he sexually assaulted, right? So if you want to enjoy his comedy, and you can, because that is your right, right? Nobody, that just speaks to who you are.
Full disclosure, I'm not a huge Louis C.K. fan. I'm just saying you can separate an artist from his art.
Okay, well, I think that the problem is that mentality has been so problematic because the people who we separate the art from the artist, for example, Woody Allen, who
that's my favorite word.
Problematic. It's like a one-fits-all solution. You can just say it for everything. It's like, you know, when my missus gets home from work, she says, "I had a hard day." Oh, that's problematic.
Yeah.
You know, or you stub your toe. No, that's problematic. Like, I don't even know if it's a word. Is it a word? I'm gonna look it up. Let's look this up. I'm gonna look up is problematic a word, and I'm gonna go to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, because screw you. Even though I'm using Chrome. Pants would have a fit if you knew I was using Chrome. Background. Nope. Oh, what the hell?
Oh, baby. Here.
It's an album by a pop punk band called All. Problematic.
Problematic.
Yeah.
What a great word.
Definition of problematic. Entry 1 of 2. Posing a problem, difficult to solve or decide. Not definite.
Yeah, I think she's making up definition.
Open to question or debate, questionable.
Everything's problematic.
Well, it's got like 3 meanings that don't really, according to Merriam-Webster here. You've got definition of problematic, posing a problem, difficult to solve or decide, not defined, not definite or settled, uncertain, open to question or debate, questionable. So it's uncertain, it's posing a problem, it's uncertain, it's questionable. That's according to something that is problematic, a problematic aspect or concern. So it's like a blanket term for, I suppose you can say it is a, what about problematical? That's a word too. Problematical. If you heard that, would you just say that's not a word? Because apparently it is.
Problematical-tarianism.
Problematical.
I'm just...
Anti-disestablishmentarian or
yeah.
Problematic.
Just add an ism on there.
Problematic-tarianism.
Problematicism.
Syllogism. Deductive reasoning. It's a crafty argument. Ooh, that's a syllogism. Deductive reasoning. So that's like Sherlock Holmes. He uses Owen's
the Jew.
30 minutes. I bet you he gets more people watching his stream than this one because we've got 2. So that's you and one other person because I don't think I count.
Oh, whenever I came, it said 1, so I think you're the other person.
Whatever. Oh, I don't know. It would be. It's playing on my thing, on my live dashboard. Anyway.
A pedophile, and we talk about Roman Polanski. Huh?
I think separating the art from the artist is right, but I get in trouble for this. There are those who are not convinced he's actually a pedophile. Terrible boyfriend, but
okay, well,
the other son who's a family therapist has come forward and said that that's not true.
Okay, well, the arguments that these people, Roman Polanski and the people.
No debate there.
Okay, there we go. So let me find the right one. All right. So, but
because there's so many to choose from. I agree.
But what I'm saying is that this is the argument about you and Nanette. You thinking Nanette is not funny, then people who think that dudes who pull out their penises. No, but she said she wasn't going to tell jokes, right?
I'm going to make people laugh.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so she said she wasn't going to tell jokes from that point forward, which is some comedians tell jokes and some comedians are storytellers. Everybody
she wasn't telling funny stories either. She was telling tragic stories.
Okay, who enjoyed Nanette in here?
We're still talking about this.
There's a group of people who thought it was funny.
Yeah, like
it wasn't funny.
Huh?
She just said who enjoyed Nanette in there. There was 2 hands in a whole room. The hands up. Oh God. That's funny.
Problematic.
Really, he doesn't know what we're talking about with Nanette.
Yeah, it's more everybody doesn't want.
One of the things that's in very vogue right now is digging up people's old behavior and holding it up to today's standards. People's tweets from years ago, their yearbooks. Is that a fair thing? Is your past fair game by today's standards?
I think social media is awesome, but also so scary. And I think the most recent example of this is probably James Gunn, or at least the biggest one. And not only are we digging up people's past, but we're also taking what they've said, regardless if it's inappropriate or not. I thought it wasn't inappropriate. And not only are we shaming them for making jokes about it, but we're also attributing those beliefs as if they actually had them, right? You're not just someone who joked about this. You actually, this is proof you're a pedophile. And I don't think that's okay, and especially for people who have been in the entertainment industry for a long time. I mean, to hold them to today's standards of what is and what is not acceptable, especially like when you take things out of context, like a lot of James Gunn's tweets specifically were, I think it's bad news for anyone who's in the public spotlight, whether you're on the left or on the right.
But there's no way. That's a great point. That is a great point. There's really no way. You made those tweets. I think people should have to answer for those tweets, and whatever their response is, then it's like if you've ever been in a relationship with someone or you have kids and they do something wrong or you do something wrong, there is a very specific apology you have to give in order for everybody to move on. One that shows you understand the gravity of what you did that was wrong and whatnot, especially when it comes to tweeting and digging up things from the past in terms of, like your social media footprint as far as that's concerned. I think if you do offer up an explanation, then we should move forward. It should not threaten work as far as that goes. But I just think you need a very specific, you have to answer everything that was there in a way that's and there is a satisfying thing. It's hard to put your finger on, but there is a satisfying answer that satisfies everybody and satisfies the majority of the population. You just have to get there with it.
I totally agree. But in the case of James Gunn, and I may sound like the conservative here now, but reading his joke, it's clear he's telling a joke. Disney fired him because they were afraid of what would happen if when their children's comic book movie opened, what some parents would say about having a guy who jokes about raping kids direct a film for kids, Guardians 3. So while I was sad he was fired because he's a terrific filmmaker and I like those movies, at the end of the day, when we as artists work in a corporate medium, we are subject to the dictates of the people who write the checks. So Disney had every right to fire him.
Hey.
I was thrilled that DC hired him just last week to do the R-rated Suicide Squad 2 because he's a great filmmaker. And I think that actually, he's had his punishment, but he's still going to have a chance to work.
John, but what about, if he would have made that joke and made that tweet currently after he was hired by Disney to do this movie, I can understand Disney being like, you're gone. I understand the concern 100%. That you had, and that
I thought it was wrong of them to do it.
I'm just saying that, for something that happened long before you ever even got into this, and you need to answer for it. Yes, this was a joke.
It happened to Trevor Noah when he took over Daily Show. They found all of his old, fat chick jokes from 10 years ago and used them against him. They did.
And I think everyone.
Awful. Trevor Noah's awful. His stuff's never been funny. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just saying Trevor Noah is awful.
Yeah, I know.
You watch any of his old stuff? From when he was in South Africa?
No.
It's all it's all race-based stuff.
Of course it is. That's why they chose him.
It's like he's race-obsessed.
Yeah, I stopped watching Comedy Central altogether before Trevor Noah ever came on. That's the thing is we would watch, it would just be on, white noise. And my wife really hated, what was that guy?
Jon Stewart. Not Jon Stewart?
No. He was the black guy that was on real late. Well, it was late here. He would come on after Jon Stewart or Colbert.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm assuming he's not on there anymore. You got anything else?
Hold on.
I'll just put the gun up.
It was that show where he's keeping it 100 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What was that show called?
Who's on? No one's on. Try and get someone. Fun size. Should we get fun size in the stream? We'll have to shut it down in about 2 seconds.
Oh man. Oh, it was Larry Wilmore.
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
guy.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah, my wife hated Larry Wilmore so much we had to stop watching Comedy Central. He was the original race baiter before Trevor Noah.
I'll put this one up. This one's pretty funny. That's a tiny.
You gonna play it more?
Yep. I'll play it more. Whoa, okay.
Can understand Disney's market reasoning for it, but I think that kind of reasoning leaves people open to: do you have to be purity tested as an artist in order to participate? Not that I'm saying that.
No, yeah, I know, but it's the dilemma we all face.
Right, and you have people like Rihanna now who have been in kids movies, right? And I mean, obviously the kinds of videos, music videos she makes, the lyrics she writes, those aren't for children. So I think we should be able to separate artists like that. And I think if a parent is mad about this one specific person, they're free to not purchase that film, and in which case Disney's going to have to do some calculations whether it's worth it. But at the end of the day, if you're a parent and your kids are seeing that kind of material, that's on you to monitor them more.
Absolutely.
That's not
and I agree with Michael's point that we do have to separate the art from the artist. I know it might sound like bullshit. Bill Cosby is the single greatest live comedian I have ever seen in my life, and I've seen him more than once. And no one can do what he does. And he raped over 45 women. So, I have no problem with saying, yes, the comedy was great, and the man has to go away. John Lennon beat his first wife. Does that mean I have to throw out all my Beatles albums? Or do I recognize that we're all sinners, we're all fucked up in our own ways, and I can still enjoy...
Everything that John Lennon ever did was proper... What about Jealous Guy, who we talked about beating his wife? Like instant karma is like a rejection of Christianity, essentially. Imagine is just pure communism. Yes, you do have to throw out the Beatles albums. Anything that John Lennon had anything to do with, you got to get rid of. He's just a master wizard, a master manipulator. Yes, you do.
Oh, you're missing it. I've got this nice toasty fire.
Yeah.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 logs in there.
Take a picture.
8.
Put it up.
Ah.
Whoa. Yeah, this is okay, but it's not the best way to do it for like a mini review. Yeah, I think it's better to do a recorded video and put it up. But that's a lot of work because there's all the editing and all that. That's anything.
I'm looking at problematic memes.
Problematic. I might look at some too.
How problematic?
Do you see the Dave thing yesterday? Owen's thing?
What thing?
Dave. You didn't see that?
Oh, I was on. Yeah, was that on stream part 3?
Okay, it was the last one that he put up.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like half asleep watching it.
We'll wrap this up in a minute. Have you got any more memes?
No, I'm upstairs right now.
Oh, okay.
The music, because John, in the case of Lennon, spent 10 years writing feminist songs apologizing for being a violent bad man. But
is it a coincidence? His name
the market
is Lennon?
will decide.
The market
That's
will...
why you can have James Franco do what he did and show his dick in an acting class, and he can't get an Oscar
I'm
nomination.
talking about.
But Gary Oldman
Stalin.
beat the shit out of his wife's face with a phone receiver in front of their kids, and he won the actual Oscar. So our outrage levels are very subjective, no matter who we are.
I think the market will bear it out because in the case of Cosby, I mean, I would argue that Cosby himself, which was especially recorded like 1983 or 84 in Toronto, where he's just sitting down, is one of the single greatest specials I've ever seen. It was so influential for me and my brother watching that. It's just brilliant, 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 brilliant. But if I were to go back and watch it now, I just would have a problem. I would just be thinking about a guy who, even after that taping, probably raped a woman. You're like, I bet he, or whatever, I mean, just even if that's in my thought, I'm suddenly taken out of the brilliance of his comedy, and I'm thinking about him as a person. Same with.
I will never watch his stand-up again.
And so I think, and he only has himself to blame for that. But I'm just saying that, that. It does work its way in a comedy sense, and you want to separate it, but I don't think you can in the end because it's just the creep level is just there. You just can't.
What's his name again?
You're throwing out all the Harvey Weinstein movies?
John Lennon.
What are
John
you
Lennon?
smile
Yeah,
more?
his dad. His dad was Vladimir Lenin. That's got to be a meme. There's got to be something in there.
His dad's name was what?
Vladimir Lenin.
It's not. It wasn't. That's not his actual name, is it? No.
Vladimir Lenin. He was the guy before Stalin.
Yeah, no, I know who. Vladimir Lenin is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe it was his grandpa.
How about this? How about this picture, eh?
Hold on, let's see.
Isn't that?
Oh my God. Yeah.
That looks like a real picture. Did that actually happen?
I hope not.
Havana's Lennon Park.
I'm gonna propose every left-wing policy.
Okay. You say you want a revolution, well, we all want to change the world. No, they didn't jam together. They didn't even meet the wonders of Photoshop. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. It's a Photoshop. They could have, though. If you listen to Imagine, it's like, do I have to throw out all my Beatles albums? Yes, you do have to throw out your Beatles albums. Communist propaganda. It's kind of funny though, because all these groups were like that. Like if you look at what is it called? The Bieber and One Direction and all these guys. It's all the same.
Why?
I had a question for you, and then we'll branch out.
That's politically incorrect. I'm supposed to ask a woman to smile. I know. But does that mean you throw the Harvey Weinstein?
Me Too in comedy. What has the effect been to you as a female performer? Is it empowering? Does it give you more to talk about? Do you feel like you actually need to be more respectful of women yourself as a female performer? What's the relationship there? And then I want to hear from the guys as well.
Well, I mean, I go do stand up for women. That's my number one mission, because we have to have a voice. I'm a Latin woman, and people don't expect me to have a point of view about social issues and politics. People think I'm going to go up and dance and talk about my eyebrows being drawn on with a Sharpie. So it gets a little old when people are like, oh shit, she's talking about abortion or she's talking about whatever. But I think the Me Too movement has been, listen, when people start talking to me about falling into these categories of the political parties like the Red Sox and the Yankees, I'm all about the people. I'm all about the people. That I was registered independent when I started voting, and everything that I think about has to do with the people. So when I go out and I think about this Me Too movement that can be tone deaf at times, and I will say it's very easy for a bunch of rich white chicks who put on their black dresses and go to the Oscars and make these statements about, about sexual harassment when women who are poor, all women that are poor, white, black alike, in the middle of the country have to go back to Applebee's and deal with the sexual harassment that doesn't go away. I
when
want
she
to
says
hear
sexual
about a movement
harassment,
that
I immediately
includes
think of
those
that
people.
humongous guy. The humongous guy? Put it on. I'm ready for it. Look up original video. Yeah. Humongous what? Maybe if I find stuff, I'll just private message it to you, and then that'd be a good way to make a list.
You take my picture.
Yeah.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
It's humongous.
Okay. Humongous what? Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
No, it's humongous.
Then why did you say that to me?
That's my name.
What? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment? Is that what you just did when you said that to me?
What, humongous?
Why would you say that to me?
Yes, but my name.
Why would you say that to me?
Why would I say it to
Why
you?
would you say that to me?
Why would you ask me my name?
What? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? This person just spoke to me in a sexually harassing way.
I did not.
Yeah, he did. He said, do you know what my name is? And I said, what? And he said, humongous. Yeah, this person just sexually harassed me.
I said I'm humongous.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Humongous what?
Humongous.
So now you're actually pointing to yourself. You're actually pointing to your body parts, and you're actually pointing to your body parts and saying that you're humongous. You're actually doing that. And this is the person who just got interviewed as a pro-bunker person of color, as if you represent us. They're using you as a token, and then you speak to me in a sexually harassing manner. How dare you? How dare you? Disgusting! Disgusting!
You left them saying your daughter's lives matter, but
disgusting! You just abused a woman! You just abused a woman, and you have the audacity! You have the audacity to say that girls matter! How dare you? How dare you? You disgusting person! Disgusting! Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Are you gonna do anything about it?
Cop or security guard looks at her, and she almost says his name's humongous. It's so funny. But I think it's right at 2.
Have you seen the Owens thing? The latest thing?
It's either right at 2 minutes or 1:50. There's that lady who goes, "What the fuck?" Did you hear that? That's the funniest part.
The only reason it's so funny is because of the outrage. Otherwise, it'd just be a dad joke. That's what these morons don't realise. They provide so much material for people like Owen. But the problem is Owen
Yeah.
do it, you know?
That should be a slogan for him. SJWs, making dad jokes funny.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's put something good on. This is funny, if you haven't seen it. It's
I'm calling him again. Let's see if he's ready to party.
Oh, I've probably seen it.
He's busy again. That'd be funny if this was all just like a big elaborate joke. Hang on. Oh, here we go.
Listen, motherfucker. You don't know who you're talking to here. I've been in this game.
I saw that. Yeah, I've seen that already.
Strong.
Yeah, I've seen it.
1.7 M, and you're coming at me with some soft hands. Bullshit. Yeah, they be really soft coming outside your damn head and keep running that mouth, and I'll send you to the moon. Yeah, I finna land your ass like a lunar module. 147. Ha! I've met half-fat gay frogs with twice the IQ. The fuck out of here with 147. It's a privilege to shake these supple hands. Trill niggas know that 300 keeps them seats hot. Stacks on stacks, rubber band popping, Jordan band stopping. Woo!
But you're obviously banned for life. All right, let's play some music.
Hold on, I'm on the phone.
Anything else? Anything else?
Yeah. Call. Yeah, someone was just calling me. People always. Yeah. People always calling me. Yeah, my favorite. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff that happened in that that humongous video.
It's all.
The security guard, he's like, she said, what's your name? And he almost said humongous, it looked like. He had to stop himself.
Have you seen Millie Weaver's thing?
It's just crazy when people agree with that lady.
Who?
The humongous lady?
He was my favorite.
InfoWars. Alex Jones, you're my man. Keep hanging in there. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
This video is crazy. I'll just put it up in a sec. Hang on. This video is nuts. How come it's not posted?
Wait a minute.
Shame!
Why is it shame on her to
Shame! 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 Shame!
Oh my god.
Shame!
Is this Ben Shapiro?
Shame! 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 Shame!
They're pointing at me and yelling shame.
Shame! 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 Shame!
This lady's shaming my belly. That's nice.
It's like they didn't get the show.
Shaming my pregnant belly. That's nice.
Leftists are actually that stupid where they just
Sounds like you're projecting, ma'am.
The press, and so you shouldn't be able to say which press should be out here and which press shouldn't be. Okay, well, you said she was disgusting. Okay, she's not disgusting.
I don't
She's doing
think
her job.
the leftists understand the Game of Thrones because they can't shame unironically. Like they don't get it.
Well, I think she is 100% right to be out here. And not to be called disgusting. I don't agree with everything, but I don't call people disgusting who I disagree with.
You know what I like?
We agree to disagree.
I like their compilations. Those are really good.
I think things like this, though, they really show the left because they get right in there and and they sort of change people's mind, like kind of like Crowder's changed my mind stuff. Like they've got the guts to actually go and confront people about things and create a conversation. And like the left obviously says they're provocateurs and stuff like that, but they're anti-establishment. Like they're not part of the establishment as a thing. So it really exposes the hypocrisy. And this is ridiculous. When
You're a young woman.
Congressman when I was 8 years old, and I don't remember every detail. I didn't tell anybody, and for anybody to say that Ford.
I don't know.
Ma'am, no, here's the deal. I'm a survivor of sexual assault, ma'am. So no.
Oh, I think I've seen
that. You need
that.
to understand.
I'm just listening. I don't have.
You should be ashamed for coming up here and saying.
I'll fast forward it a bit because they go on for ages. There's this chick that goes, oh, so because you're pregnant, you can't be shamed? And it's like, but the way she says it is like they treat shame as a perfectly legitimate thing.
If you're a liberal, feminist, progressive woman, if you're not, well then they shame you. They're not for women, working women. That's what I am. I'm a working woman out here as a journalist, and they're literally yelling and condemning at me. What?
Yeah, they don't have any like real stances on anything.
Who's a fascist? Who's KKK? Okay. Who's KKK? Who's fascist? I want to know. Who are you talking to?
Owen's supposed to go live in a minute.
You know the program that
Who?
you
No, InfoWars is not fascist. That's not true.
You ask them about the shame
We're
of
capitalists.
it. The shame of it is that we're raising human beings to get in on all this hate.
So what is chanting and
Yeah.
yelling at me?
Can we watch Owen's live stream in here and it'd be like a live stream watching a live stream?
Because you're a journalist.
So you're just talking about we shouldn't have hate, and then you're going to talk about being hateful towards a female journalist out here talking to people.
Shamed if you in any way give a platform to white supremacists.
Oh, we are not doing that, ma'am. We are absolutely not. No, we're not.
That you do.
No, we are not.
What that station is. It's a
no. That's.
I can stream this live stream. Anyway, she says shame to her, and she goes, their rationale is, so you can't be shamed or something. So, because you're pregnant, and it's like you can be shamed because you're pregnant. It's like it's the most ridiculous rationale.
Yeah. Hey, Seattle TV station aired a doctored video of Trump's Oval Office speech. Isn't that crazy?
Just about all of them are doctored. Because people, they have the trust of some people, like they brainwash people, so they can doctor things and people just accept it, they just follow it. Like even if the doctoring is obvious. It's indoctrination and you got to break it. You got to break it. Sometimes you got to be aggressive to break it as well.
Shame!
Shame! You notice how they have to do that repetitive?
It's not true.
Ear of the president to give his white supremacist.
Not true. Absolutely not true.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Owen's live now.
I do too, and it's true.
No, it's absolutely not true when we have. So why do we have so many minorities working at it?
Can you put the live stream on?
Supremacists have a feed into Fox News.
Post it and play it.
Administration is the last.
Oh, I just got my notification.
For questioning something that gives people pride. Or did I know too much? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
DLC. Just take me a second.
Possibly. But when I'm out here telling you to prove that the earth is round, you loud it, don't make a sound. Doing a mind exercise, and it's no surprise that you think think I'm crazy. That you think I'm crazy. That you think I'm crazy. But you don't see. I think it's insane. I think it's insane to eat what they throw in your trough. Your soul is telling you something is off. Maybe that's the cause of your depression, to be a slave to what you've been told. Or maybe you're crazy. Or maybe you're crazy. Or maybe you're crazy to keep your blindfold on.
Boom. Just gave my baby a bath. What did you do?
I didn't do anything like that. I've got a 6-year-old. I think it'd be wrong for me to give her a bath.
Why does my 2-year-old know how to open those child safety doors and I don't?
Because that's what happens. They also learn how to figure out how to use your phone before you do.
Yeah.
All sorts of things like that.
Yeah. The way I set up my fire, I can, you know, I put the logs in, and I don't have to touch it for a couple hours. Actually, at my mom's house, we got one of them Duraflames, and I just piled in 4 big wet logs, and it burned for, I don't even know how many. I left without even touching the fire for hours.
Good evening, Bears. Welcome to another stream. I'm your host, Owen Benjamin, or as Germans say,
Yeah, well,
Owen
I stack
Benjamin.
it like Lincoln logs.
Welcome, everybody. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Vox Dave for having my back. He just did a whole stream called Owen Benjamin Did Nothing Wrong, which is pretty funny. And he
Owen Benjamin, nothing
and he
wrong.
gets it, man. It's like, that's one thing that drew me to Vox, is that I felt understood by the guy. And one of the things he said is, it's not like he invaded Poland or anything. And I think he might have been referring to Hitler got blamed for killing a bunch of Polish officers, but it was really Stalin. I don't know. That might have been what he was referring to, but it's and he talked about how high IQ people like to do cognitive exercises to figure out what they actually believe, and a lot of people don't understand that, and it's not a brag. You know, if you say, let's say you walk into a restaurant,
I'm just really far away from my
Japanese
computer.
person walks up and it's like, hang on, yum, 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 yum. And one guy's like, oh, he says we have to move the car because I speak Japanese. Would anybody be like, must be nice? No, it's like there's certain people that can speak a language that some people don't understand. And I do have compassion for people that get scared and angry. My brother is an arborist. He's a tree climber. He can be 200 feet in a tree, and he looks fearless. But he's not fearless. He has just as much fear as me. Just like me on stage.
If you don't like walls, take all the walls out of your house.
Just as much
The
fear
roof
as
will
anybody.
fall right on you. You know what I'm saying?
It's because we have a skill set, and we trust our
still
skill
there?
set. And what would make me terrified 200 feet in a tree? When I go 30 feet in a tree, I get scared. My brother can be 200 feet up, but he knows, you know, he's got in his, he's tied in, you know, he like what you do when you're a tree climber is you have a throw, it's called a throw ball. It's like a little ball, and you think you can throw it, but you never really can. It's got to be underhand. And you get it way, way up there, and you get it notched in a secure branch, and then you tie your saddle into way up there. So then under it, you're secure, and then you also have a tie around the tree, right?
What was I just saying?
So when I'm doing mental exercises and questioning the things that I was told
if you don't like walls, take all the walls out of your house.
I now realize may or may not be true. I'm trying to get down to my base knowledge so that I can have the best foundation I can.
Walls are primitive. So are roofs.
And when you question certain things, some people don't. And it's not just IQ, because I think it's something that you can be taught.
Apple's like,
some people have this insane fear.
They're going to get rid of the walls.
It comes over them when you say, like, well, maybe we didn't go to the moon. Maybe prove the Earth is a sphere spinning at 1,100 miles an hour. These are exercises I'm doing in my mind. I still think the Earth is a sphere. I'm just having a much harder time proving it than I thought I would. People get very angry. And it's because they're scared, because their whole mind is based on being on the ground. You know, like how it's so similar to arborism, you know, being a tree guy. That when you're up there, you're like, this is madness. But if you have a slow exposure to the fear, and for those of you that don't understand, like Socrates said, all I know is that I know nothing. I'm not the biggest fan of Socrates. But you have to understand, like, if you get to the base of, like, I need to find out my most fundamental things that I know.
Yeah. I need to get some iron plates in there.
And that makes people angry. And so people were sending Vox emails about, you know, Owen's schizophrenic. He wanted
that'd be a good idea. Just get an iron skillet, just put it in
like
there,
the whole Japanese thing, where it's like if one person speaks Japanese,
throw the ashes out when it cools
someone
down.
else that can also speak Japanese, because he's smarter than I am, by the way. Vox is one of the few people that I've met on the internet that I can, without question, say he has a faster processing speed in his mind. And not only does it not make me feel envious or angry, it makes me feel very, very calm and happy conversing with someone that understands the problem